You went to Aldi for coffee, stood in front of the shelf, and realized you had no idea which bag was actually worth buying. That happens to almost everyone. Because Aldi's coffee section is a strange mix of genuinely excellent products and commodity coffee that will disappoint you every single morning until you throw the rest of the canister away. And the confusing part is that they sit on the same shelf, sometimes right next to each other, in packaging that looks almost identical. There is no obvious signal telling you which one is worth your money. The cheapest option is not always the worst. The most expensive option is not always the best. And the one with the nicest looking bag is sometimes the biggest disappointment of all. Without knowing what to look for, you are essentially guessing. And most people guess wrong at least once before they figure the section out. The difference between a great Aldi coffee experience and a terrible one usually comes down to $1 or $2 and knowing which direction to reach. Today, I am giving you that knowledge so you never have to guess again. 5 Aldi coffee products you should skip every time. Then 2 that are genuinely exceptional and that seniors specifically should know about because one of them has helped people who thought they had to give up coffee entirely. Let us start with number 5. This is the most commonly purchased Aldi coffee mistake of all. 5. Beaumont roast and ground. Classic blend beginners grab this because it is right there at eye level. The canister is big, and the price makes it look like the obvious smart choice. It is positioned perfectly to be the coffee most people put in their cart without a second thought. Pros walk straight past it because they have already made that mistake once, and once is enough. Beaumont Classic looks like the sensible buy because the canister is huge and the price is low, but this is the coffee more Aldi shoppers regret than almost any other. It tastes flat, bitter, and thin at the same time, and the giant canister only traps you with more of it. The beans are commodity grade, blended for volume and supply consistency rather than flavor. For anyone who cares about their morning coffee being something they look forward to, this is not it. A woman named Joan, 73. I bought the large canister because the price seemed foolish to pass up. I finished maybe a third of it over several weeks. Every single morning it tasted flat and harsh. I kept thinking maybe I was brewing it wrong. I adjusted the water. I tried different amounts. Nothing fixed it. I ended up throwing most of it away, which meant the low price was not actually low at all once I had wasted 2/3 of the canister. Joan's experience is the most common Aldi coffee story you will hear, and the canister size makes it worse in a way that is worth understanding before you buy. The price looks so attractive per ounce that most people instinctively grab the biggest format available, which means when the coffee disappoints, and with the Beaumont Classic it will, you are committed to weeks of bad mornings before you can justify opening something better. You are not saving money, you are prepaying for frustration. And every morning you force yourself to drink coffee you do not enjoy is a morning you started worse than you needed to. A standing rule that applies to any new Aldi coffee. Always buy the smallest size first. Taste it across several mornings before committing to a large format. With the Beaumont Classic, specifically, skip it entirely regardless of size. The savings are not real when half the canister ends up in the bin. If you are watching this and you currently have a Beaumont Classic canister in your kitchen that you have been forcing yourself through every morning, this is your permission to stop. Move it aside. The 2 products coming at the end of this video will show you what your mornings are supposed to taste like. And the price difference between the Beaumont Classic and the coffees I recommend is small enough that you will wonder why you ever reached for the cheaper option in the first place. If the Classic blend is the most common mistake, the next one is the most understandable mistake because it targets a genuine health need that millions of people have. Number 4 is next. 4. Beaumont Decaffeinated Ground. Coffee beginners buy whatever decaf is cheapest and assume decaf is decaf. Pros look for Swiss water. Process on the label and skip anything that does not have it. Decaf is not the problem. Cheap decaf is. If decaf is your daily coffee, this is one Aldi category I would skip entirely. There are 2 main ways to remove caffeine from beans. The Swiss water process uses water and charcoal filtration, no chemicals, and preserves the flavor. The other method uses chemical solvents, cheaper, faster, but it strips out a lot of the flavor along with the caffeine. Budget decaf almost always uses the solvent method. The result tastes flat and hollow. Harold, 76, switched to decaf on doctor's orders because of a heart arrhythmia. He bought the cheapest decaf he could find at Aldi and drank it every morning for months. Every morning with that coffee felt like a quiet punishment, thin and flat with a hollow aftertaste. I thought that was just what decaf tasted like, but I accepted it. Then a friend gave me a bag of Swiss water processed decaf from a different brand. The difference was immediate. I actually enjoy my morning coffee again. Harold spent months accepting a disappointing cup, because he assumed all decaf was like that. It is not. Good decaf exists. Aldi just does not carry it yet. If you rely on decaf, look for Swiss water process elsewhere. Spend the extra $1. Your morning ritual deserves better. The next item surprises people because the name on the package sounds like someone put real thought into it. Number 3 is where some of the most quietly misleading marketing language in the coffee section lives. 3. Beaumont Breakfast Blend Light Roast. Beginners buy this because the name sounds thoughtful and premium. Pros know that breakfast blend in the budget coffee world usually just means light roasted commodity beans, nothing more. Breakfast blend sounds like a product that was carefully crafted for the morning. But in the budget coffee world, it mostly means a lighter roast built on beans that were never going to shine. Light roasting reveals the character of whatever is inside. With quality beans, that means brightness and clean flavor. With commodity beans, it means sourness, grassiness, and a thin, watery body. Instead of bright and clean, the Beaumont Breakfast Blend comes across thin and sour. It is the coffee equivalent of turning the lights up in a room that looks better dim. One woman, 69. The packaging made me believe I was buying something thoughtfully crafted. The words breakfast blend made it sound like someone with expertise had designed this for the morning. The first cup, I assumed I had made a mistake with my method. I adjusted the water, the amount, the brewing time. Made another cup carefully. Same flat, sour result. It tasted nothing like what the name promised. Light roast as a style is not inherently inferior. At Aldi specifically, the Barissimo light roast offerings use meaningfully better beans, and the difference in the cup is immediately obvious. But the Beaumont Breakfast Blend is not that product. If you want light roasted Aldi, wait for Barissimo version. The comparison makes the wait worthwhile. Skip the Beaumont Breakfast Blend without hesitation. Number 2 generates more debate than anything else on this list. It arrives in packaging that smells wonderful. The reality is more complicated than the aroma suggests. 2. Barissimo Flavored Coffee Range. A distinction that matters. The Barissimo brand as a whole is not the problem. The unflavored Barissimo lines, the Colombian, the House Blend, the dark roast varieties, the single origin offerings, those are genuinely good products discussed with full enthusiasm below. Buy those with confidence. The specific problem is the Barissimo flavored range. The hazelnut, the vanilla, the caramel, the seasonal varieties. Beginners buy them because the bag smells incredible in the store. Pros know the bag always smells better than the cup ever will. This is coffee that sells entirely on aroma. The bag smells amazing. The cup almost never lives up to it. The first 2 or 3 brews can seem promising, but the flavor fades fast, and what is left behind tastes synthetic and underwhelming. The flavoring is applied to already roasted beans after the roasting process is complete. Those beans are typically from production batches that were not strong enough to sell as unflavored coffee, and the flavoring is there specifically to mask that. There is no economic reason to use quality beans when the hazelnut or vanilla coating will cover whatever is underneath. The entire business model of flavored coffee is built on making mediocre beans taste like something they are not, the bigger problem that affects your daily experience. The applied flavoring degrades and disappears much faster than the coffee itself goes stale. Within a week and a half of opening the bag, the hazelnut or vanilla has largely evaporated. What remains is underwhelming base coffee with a faint, slightly synthetic aftertaste where the promised flavor used to be. You bought hazelnut coffee. By day 10, you are drinking mediocre coffee with a chemical memory of hazelnut. And because you bought a full bag based on how it smelled, you are stuck with it. One woman, 71. The hazelnut bag smelled extraordinary. The first 2 mornings were close to what I hoped for. By the end of the week, the hazelnut was essentially gone. I had bought a large bag based on the smell, and I was disappointed for weeks. I kept thinking maybe I was brewing it wrong. I was not. The flavor was just gone. That experience repeats across the entire flavored range. Vanilla, caramel, seasonal varieties, all the same pattern. A few good days. Then, a slow decline into coffee that tastes vaguely like a broken promise. As an occasional novelty, maybe. As a daily coffee, skip the flavored range entirely. The bag smells considerably better than the cup will ever taste beyond the first few days of opening. And if you want flavor in your coffee, add real vanilla extract, real cinnamon, or real cocoa powder to a cup of good, unflavored Aldi coffee. You will get better flavor, it will not fade, and the base coffee will actually be worth drinking. Now everything shifts, because the next 2 products are the ones that make navigating the rest of the Aldi coffee section entirely worthwhile. These are not good enough for the price coffees. These are genuinely good coffees that happen to be available at Aldi prices. The kind of coffees that make people stop buying from specialty stores. The kind that make you wonder why you ever paid 3 times as much for the same quality experience. And here's what makes both of these recommendations particularly useful. They do not require you to leave Aldi. Every single skip item on this list has a better alternative in the same store, on the same shelf, usually within arm's reach. You do not need to drive to a specialty roaster. You do not need to order beans online. You just need to know which bag to reach for instead of the one you have been grabbing out of habit. That is what separates this video from generic coffee advice. 2 specific products. Both at Aldi, one for people who like smooth and balanced. One for people who like rich and bold. Both exceptional. Number 2 is a daily coffee that will make you stop looking anywhere else. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. Because what is coming at number 1 is the coffee that surprised me more than anything else in the entire Aldi store. Actually, good number 2. Barissimo Colombian Single Origin Ground. Coffee beginners, buy whatever Aldi coffee is cheapest and hope for the best. Pros, buy the Barissimo Colombian and stop hoping, because they already know. Barissimo Colombian is one of the safest good coffee buys in the entire Aldi section. Smooth, balanced, dependable, and much better than the cheaper canisters sitting below it on the shelf. If you want one Aldi coffee that is easy to recommend to almost everyone, this is it. The roast is medium, which makes it versatile across brewing methods and personal preferences. It has inviting brightness in the opening, smooth body through the middle, and a clean, warm finish that resolves nicely rather than lingering bitterly. It is the kind of coffee you can drink black and enjoy, or add cream to without losing the flavor. For people who want their daily coffee to be reliably good without any drama, this is exactly that. People who have tasted it alongside Colombian coffees at 2 and 3 times the price consistently say the difference is much smaller than the price gap suggests. This is not a budget approximation of good coffee. It is good coffee at a budget price. Edward, 66, used to assume the more expensive Colombian from a specialty store had to be better. He had been buying it for years without questioning the price. His son bought him the Aldi version as a direct challenge. I drank the whole bag before I would admit anything to him. Every morning it was smooth and satisfying. Same quality I had been paying 3 times more for. It is excellent coffee. I have not gone back to the expensive brand and I do not miss it. That is the Aldi principle at work. Strip away the marketing and brand story, focus on what is actually in the bag, and suddenly, the price difference between Aldi and everywhere else stops making sense. Edward's son proved it with a single bag of coffee. You can prove it on your next Aldi trip. When you see the Barissimo Colombian on the shelf, buy more than 1 bag. 2 minimum. It stores well in an airtight container and is not always in stock. Do not let yourself run out. Actually, good number 1. Barissimo Fair Trade Organic Dark Roast. This is the best overall coffee value in Aldi's regular lineup, and it is the one most seniors walk straight past on every visit. Beginners see the slightly higher price and keep walking towards the cheaper option. Pros see Fair Trade, Organic, and Dark Roast on the same bag at this price and buy every bag on the shelf. The price difference is modest, not dramatic, just enough to make budget-focused shoppers pause and reach for something cheaper. That pause is a mistake, because what that small difference buys you is meaningful in ways most shoppers never consider. A fair trade certification means the farmers who grew these beans received a price that covers sustainable farming costs and provides a livable income. Farmers who are paid fairly invest in quality. Farmers who are squeezed on price-cut corners. You can taste the difference. Better conditions at the farm produce better beans in the bag. Organic certification means no synthetic pesticides or fertilizers throughout the entire growing process. You drink coffee more consistently than almost any other single item in your kitchen. 365 mornings a year. If you're going to choose one product to buy organic, the thing you consume every single morning is the strongest candidate you have. But what really matters is the cup. Rich, smooth, full-bodied, and far less harsh than most people expect from a dark roast. If you have ever had dark roast that tasted burnt or aggressive, that was a roasting problem, not a dark roast problem. This coffee shows what dark roast tastes like when done right. Deep flavor without any trace of bitterness, natural sweetness in the finish that you simply do not get from lighter roasts. and warmth that lingers pleasantly rather than harshly. It is the kind of cup that makes you understand why some people refuse to drink anything but dark roast once they find a good one. It holds up well with milk or cream. It brews well across methods. You do not need barista precision to get a satisfying cup. Make it the way you normally make coffee and it rewards you. For some older shoppers, dark roast also feels easier on the stomach than brighter, sharper coffees. It does not work for everyone, but it works for enough people that it is worth trying before giving up on coffee. Marion, 79, had stopped drinking coffee for almost 2 years because of reflux. 2 years without the ritual that had started every morning of her adult life. Her doctor suggested trying a proper dark roast to see if the lower acidity made a difference. A neighbor who shops Aldi every week recommended this specific coffee. I have been drinking it every morning for over a year without a single issue. I sit at the table with my cup the way I used to, and it is the best tasting coffee I have had in years. Marion's story is the reason this coffee is #1. Not just the taste, the fact that it gave someone back a morning ritual they thought was gone forever, at a price that makes it possible every single day. If you buy just one Aldi coffee after this video, make it this one. Buy 2 if the shelf allows. Keep 1 in reserve. Do not let yourself run out. 5 coffees to skip. 2 coffees to seek out on every single visit. Aldi's coffee section works exactly like the rest of the store. The cheapest option is not always the best value. In this aisle specifically, $1 or $2 often separates the coffee you regret from the coffee you actually look forward to every morning. Skip the giant commodity canisters sitting at eye level at the bottom of the shelf. They are positioned there because they are cheap to produce and they sell in high volume. Not because they are good, not because anyone at Aldi is proud of them. They exist because some shoppers will always reach for the lowest price without looking at what is next to it. Reach one shelf higher. That is almost always where the real value starts at Aldi, in coffee and in most other categories. The products, $1 or $2 above the cheapest option, are usually the ones Aldi is genuinely proud to sell. The ones that compete with brands costing 3 times as much. The ones that make casual Aldi shoppers into loyal ones who tell their friends. And over weeks and months, the math becomes obvious. The person who spends $1 more per bag and enjoys every single cup saves more than the person who buys the cheapest canister and throws half of it away. They save money, and they enjoy the coffee a whole lot more. And they never stand in front of the Aldi coffee shelf confused again because they already know exactly which bag to reach for. That is the math most people never do. Now you have done it. Subscribe so you never miss another one of these videos. Check out the video on screen right now where we break down 7 more Aldi items seniors should skip and the better alternatives sitting right next to them on the same shelf. I will see you in the next one.